That's how today's going. Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do kind of a shorter video because all of my videos are pretty long except for like one of them. And it is going to be a part 2 to my psycho roommate. I actually did find some old texts from her, and it kind of reminded me of some things that did happen that I didn't mention in the first video. There are like 4 things, so like I said, it's going to be a shorter video, but I thought it would be a little entertaining to throw some of that in there. One of them that I remembered is actually something that I meant to put in the first video, but I completely spaced about it, and it's actually something that kind of made her crazy. Like, this was a big event, even though it wasn't. It was like 2 seconds, but this was like a main event that was the crazy came out. So without further ado, let's jump right into the video. The first thing I wanted to add in for the part 2 isn't so much one of the bigger things. It is one of the smaller things, but it is something that I was reminded of because I did contact one of our roommates that was mentioned in the previous video. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, the previous video, or if you haven't seen the previous video or part 1, I will link that in the description, and then go back and watch that real fast and then come back and watch this one, because then it will kind of make more sense. Like, you don't have to, because these are still crazy events, but that way you know who this person is and like the backstory and all of that. If you want all that, then go back and watch that one first. So the first event was actually mentioned, like I said, by my old roommate that lived with us. Jessica had a boyfriend at the time, and one night we kind of had like a small kickback with our friends over in the backyard, and her boyfriend came over to go see her, but she wasn't hanging out with us. She was in her room watching TV or something, doing whatever, and he was out in the backyard hanging out with us. And she got so unbelievably angry that he was hanging out with us. Like, she went crazy that he was hanging out with us. And mind you, I get it that like sometimes you're like, well, you came over for me, but they were together all of the time. So she went psycho on him. You could hear them yelling at each other through the house, all the closed doors, all the closed windows. We were all outside. You could hear them yelling at each other about it. That wasn't that bad, but like, it's something where you kind of had to be there and be in the situation and know the situation to be like, there's another thing. The second thing is, like I kind of mentioned in the first one, how if her dogs ate something, she would try charging us extra. This also happened to our roommate that was living there. She came home and found a chewed up cup that her dog had obviously got a hold of and chewed up. And she tried charging our roommate Tyler an extra like $20-$40 for the chewed up cup that wasn't even his. It was her cup that she left out, but she's like, no, you have to pay me extra now since my dog ate the cup. That wasn't theirs. That was hers that she left out for a puppy to grab and get a hold of and chew up. See what I mean? And she did that numerous times to all 4 of us while we were living there. And it's kind of like, if it was our fault, okay, maybe we shouldn't have to pay extra though for a puppy doing puppy things. It is going to happen, especially if you don't train your dog. She didn't train her dogs at all. So it's, of course, that's going to happen. Third thing needs a little bit of a backstory. So for about 4 days, I think, 4 days, my husband went to visit our friend Gage and see him graduate boot camp. So he was gone, and when it came time to like pick him up from the airport. Jessica was going to pick me up, and we were all like, it was like me, her, and then her boyfriend were gonna drive to the airport to pick him up. And right before his his time or arrival time or whatever you want to call it, she was at a bowling alley bowling with some friends, and she texted Logan saying like, hey, I might not have Bailey with me when I pick you up. And then Logan was just like, why? And she said, because we're at a party right now and I don't know what time we're leaving. I don't know if I'll have enough time to go pick Bailey up after, and I don't know if we'll have to just go straight to picking you up. Logan was like, okay, that's fine, just let her know. And then Jessica replied with, is that gonna be a problem? Is this an issue? Because if I have to go get her, I guess I will. And then Logan was just like, all I said was just let her know so she knows what's going on, because she thinks you're gonna pick her up and take her here. And she's like, well, if it's that big of a problem, maybe she should learn how to drive on freeways. Okay, that is a completely different video of not driving on freeways. Completely different video. But it was just like, he was like completely fine. Like, he was just, okay, just let her know. And she, whatever. And it was, never got the end of that attitude that night. She ended up coming and picking me up, and we drove there. But it was like, really, like, it obviously wasn't that big of a deal to Logan. It wouldn't have been that big of a deal to me, because I get it, like, things come up, things happen. But really, the last thing I wanted to mention to you guys was probably one of the more crazy events that involved me and Jessica. It was just me and Jessica home. All of the guys were out at work, so it was just us. I was hanging out in the living room, sitting on the couch, and she was in the kitchen, like doing dishes or something like that. And we were having a conversation about something. I honestly don't remember what it was, because it was so long ago, and that whole event was just traumatizing for me, because I've never been in a situation like that before. But whatever it was, I can tell I was calm in it, or like I can remember that I was calm in it, because it's like, it shocked me what happened. And at the time, living there, I tried to stay as calm as I possibly could, just because I knew how she was. But whatever this conversation was, she got so pissed off about it that she took the stack of magazines that were on the counter in front of her, picked them up, and chucked them at me. She threw them at me. And let me explain a little bit what I mean by that. She did not hit me with them. They landed actually right next to me, like maybe an inch or two right next to me, so they never actually hit me. And I made that very clear to Logan when I told him what happened, because of course I'm gonna tell him what happened. You're like, this girl just threw a stack of magazines at me, and I didn't do anything wrong. I emphasized to him, I don't know if she meant to hit me with them. They did not hit me, but she threw them at me, or she threw them in my direction. In that moment, like when I saw them flying, I ducked and covered, because I didn't know if they were going to hit me. And then after, I kind of just sat there, because that was the very last thing I was expecting to happen. And I was so like I said, I've never been in a situation like that before, so I just kind of sat there for a couple minutes trying to take in what just happened. And like nothing was said after that. I sat there for maybe 5 minutes, and then I got up and went in the room, and I started crying, because what the fuck? And then that's when I texted Logan while he was at work. And I was like that's the moment when I was like, all right. I was done. At that point, it was just emotionally toxic for me. It was so, it was scary. It was really scary. Of course, Logan's gonna get pissed off about it too. Someone just threw a stack of thick-ass magazines at his girlfriend. for no reason, so of course he's gonna get angry. And he confronted her about it because I'm petrified. And she was like, started going crazy on him, saying that's not what happened, that is false, I'm a liar and everything. And then later, she changed her story a little bit, and she goes, I didn't throw them at her, I threw them in her direction. And I'm like, isn't that what I said? Like, I clearly said that. Like, I didn't want him to think I was hit, or she abused me in any way by throwing that at me, or hurt me in any way. I made that clear to him, and she at first denied it, and then changed it later on. Like, I saw the text messages. I don't have the phone that they're on anymore because it's an old phone, but I honestly don't know what else to say about this situation. Like, just imagine someone you're living with, someone that's like family to your significant other, just picking up a stack of magazines just because they don't like the conversation that they're having and chucking it at you or in your direction, like inches from hitting you. It's scary. And it doesn't sound like it's that big of a deal because they're just magazines, but magazines can hurt, especially a stack of them. Like, that was part 2 for the psycho roommate thing. I don't know if I'll have a part 3. Again, I'm going to leave that open in case I do think of more things. But that is it for this video. And before I go, I just wanted to give a little special announcement type thing. Today I am actually sending in a short manuscript of my second book, Playing in the Roses, to a publishing company, and hopefully they'll want to publish my book, and then it will be out in like Target and Walmart and Barnes & Noble and a bunch of stores like that, but it can take up to like 6 months to hear back from them, so fingers crossed. We will see. As always, if you guys enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and hit the little bell if you ever want to be notified when I do post a video. That is everything. So thank you guys again so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.